Noon. I think we're afternoon for everybody. It is the 11th of January. The year is just moving right on along. Want to just welcome you all. You do have your controls that you can control your video or your camera. I have gone through and muted everybody just to cut down on some of the background noise that we were getting. So if you are wanting to join in to the conversation, you'll need to unmute your microphone, or feel free to type anything into the chat as well. So as we get started today, really just want to let you know that January is starting off very well. We've are already about on track to be just over $1 million for the month, just with the one week under our belts. I'm hearing from many of you that you're getting a lot of interest for travel, which is really great. If anybody has any great success stories in the first week of 2021 that you want to share, we'd be more than happy to hear that, share that with you guys. So either put that in the chat or feel free to jump on in the conversation as well. I know that there's a lot going on in the news with the vaccines and with what that is going to mean as travel starts coming out and people start traveling more. The more we have information, we'll get it out to you. Did want to do a couple of reminders. In fact, let me jump over to grab this link and get right back here to you guys. ASTA did have their meeting that went over the updates with some of the PPP loans, and there's the link there in the chat. So if you do not see the chat, there's the little conversation button in your taskbar that you can open up the chat. You'll be able to see that link that I just posted. That goes to the YouTube recording of the ASTA meeting to talk about what's going on with the updates with PPP. If I think there's going to be a Virtuoso meeting as well, but I don't have the details on that just handy. So I will get that out to everybody as we see that, but keep an eye on any Virtuoso notifications as well. There is a meeting with Virtuoso, however, this week. The View from Leadership series continues, and tomorrow is with Arnie Sorensen. And so if you have not seen that, that would have come out from Virtuoso, probably from Matthew Upchurch. So check back through your emails. They're doing the leadership, the View from Leadership series, which has been great. They've had a couple already. This is the third in the series. Highly recommend that you watch those. They do record them, so if you're not able to attend it live, you will be able to watch the recording after the fact. The one tomorrow is very early. I just saw on my calendar for tomorrow. It's at 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So it is an early start to the day. If any of you are able to attend that live, that is great. Otherwise, it will be recorded, and you can watch for that through the Virtuoso networks. There is a lot that Virtuoso has recorded, and so I would recommend that you keep an eye on the Virtuoso Travel Academy. They record a lot of sessions there. They have a lot of playlists that they add content to. So if you've not already looked at those, I would highly recommend you take a look, just peruse around through the Virtuoso Travel Academy, look at the playlists. There's some different content from Bob Joslin that's been recorded, some of the different webinars that they have had around charging fees or marketing to your clients. Virtuoso's always great on having good updated content as well. We do not have any webinars scheduled for this week. We did hear from Seabourn Cruise. They are going to be our first featured supplier of the year. So we will be getting some webinars set up and some marketing materials out for you guys, and have some featured travel that we'll be doing and working in conjunction with Seabourn. Really excited. It's one of our first as the year is starting of our featured travel. And it's really great to have Seabourn and Mary Gallo partner with us on that. So more to come there. We'll get some information out to you and get that webinar scheduled so all of you can attend that. And if you've not really booked Seabourn or have a lot of questions, Mary is great at everything Seabourn. So recommend you look for more information there. Feel like I'm talking nonstop, not giving you guys an opportunity to jump in. Has anybody had any early 2021 wins with clients you want to jump in and talk to us all about?
Looks like you're using an old version of Teams. Update 28 days to continue using VIA.
Oh.
Viewer?
Yeah. No, not TeamViewer, Microsoft Teams. This is the way that's what she's doing.
So Diane, your team should be one that you're as a guest. So I don't know what they would require for you to be updated unless you've just got a version that needs to be updated.
I think that's it. And I also didn't know you could hear me. So let me undo.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Telling Frank how it says at the top here that I need to update it. Okay, I'll do that when we're finished here.
All right. Sounds great. Well, we are happy that you and Frank are on the call on the meeting today. Anyone else have anything you want to share? I did send out an email to everyone earlier today. If you don't know, Host Agency Reviews is having their host week. So they've got different, Stephanie Lee is the president, CEO of Host Agency Reviews, and she's doing different segments throughout the week on for independent contractors and just the whole hosting and environment that we're in. I tuned in a little bit this morning, and she was kind of talking about the history of hosting and independent contractors and how the industry for the last couple of decades has really moved more towards independent contractors, and that there is now no longer I don't want to say this incorrectly, but a negative connotation to being a home-based advisor. Earlier in the onset of independent contractors and home-based, there was kind of this negative from the supplier's point of view that if you were not an employee or in a brick and mortar office, that you weren't viewed as professional. That has completely gone out of the picture. The majority of leisure advisors are now independent contractors, are home-based, and the majority of these suppliers have adjusted to that so that they can accommodate the home-based hosted environment. So it was nice to see that the world has recognized it as the majority of small business owners don't have to be in a physical office location to be successful. So it was great information there. I sent out the information earlier this morning that came from Host Agency Reviews. It's on Travel Industry Solutions. It's a company that offers legal documents for independent contractors or leisure agencies. So you should have gotten that email earlier. I don't really know much about this company. This was just introduced to me. So just kind of perused their website this morning. They have a couple of different offerings. And so if you don't currently work with a lawyer or have someone to give you legal advice on documents, on contracts, on what you need for your business structure, they could be a great resource because you're not paying legal fees, you're paying for the documents. So look on there, see if there's a package that looks right to you, or if there are just some documents that may be something that you've been looking for. It would be a great place to get those. If anybody has had any experience working with them, let me know as well, or if you look at signing up with them, I'd like to know what your experience is so we can share that also. I've been sending information out to our California ICs that we do need updated files on. And as it turns out, the IRS website seems to be down at the most opportune time when we're asking for people to apply for their EIN if they don't currently. And it looks like that website, it was down on Friday, it's still down today. So continue to keep working on that. Our goal was to have everybody's EINs on file before we do the first 2021 payroll. Doesn't look like that is probably going to be realistic with their site being down. So as soon, and Daisy just said it's been down for weeks. So that's really not good. There is a way to fax in the application or mail the application instead of doing it over the internet or do the online application. So there may be a different way for you to apply for your EIN, but we will continue to monitor that and give you updates there as well. And again, our main purpose, and I know a lot of you are finding when you go on there that as a sole proprietor, it is not a requirement for you to have an EIN. But what we have been hearing and what we have been advised is that as a host agency who works with independent contractors, that we need to show that we are paying business entities for that work rather than individual people. So if you have an EIN, and then in California, in addition, is your business license. If we're audited by the Department of Labor, we would need to show that we're paying you as a business and not as an individual. They view anybody being paid to a Social Security number as an employee because employees would not have an EIN. For you, as we've said in the past, this is something that is also a benefit to you. It's not just all about us. That's what I need to do in order for us to pass an audit. What this does for you is really separates your business assets from your personal assets. So having that EIN and applying or filing those taxes under your EIN versus the Social Security number just helps keep everything separate so that your personal assets would never come into under fire if there was anything that you would be sued for or anything that would come up. So just another layer of protection for you and your business, protecting you as a small business owner. Like I said last week, I have a feeling that the AB5 type bill is going to go across more states as we get into 2021. I think we will start seeing more and more audits because more and more states are going to be looking for money. And one way to do that is on fining companies for misclassifying their independent contractors, stating that they should have been employees. So if you don't know what the AB5 was, there was a lot that went on in 2019 around California classifications. I think everybody pretty much knows that whole history. But we do want to make sure that we're doing our part to help protect you as a small business as well. ASTA is doing a great job in advocating for you. I know many of you have recently joined ASTA, and I thank you for that. They are our industry advocates. It is our industry association. They do a great job with keeping information updated. they do also have legal counsel. And so there is, from time to time, they'll have updated templates that you can use that are created by their legal team. So if you are not, I'm going to put my other plug in as well. If you're not already an ASTA member, I do highly recommend. I know many of you had a bad taste in your mouth from ASTA from many, many years ago that did kind of fall into disrepair. It was not a great association. Zane Kirby has really turned it around. They're really doing great work now. That's 15 minutes of me talking nonstop. So let me know. Jump on in. I'd love to hear from you guys and what you're doing. If anybody has any of your own personal travel scheduled, if anybody has had those wins, we'd like to be able to celebrate them. And so jump on in if there's anything that you want to, or if there's any questions that you have, feel free to type those in the chats as well. I've not had any good 2020 requests, but 2022 is looking better. That's great. Get over to the chat. And we also want to, Allie manages our blog. So as any of you are traveling, we'd like to have write-ups of your trips and what your experiences have been. If you've had any clients that have been traveling lately and they would like to give you a write-up of what their travel experience was, those are great things that we would love to share in our blog. And Allie is collecting featured travel advisor success stories for Virtuoso to use as featured advisor stories. So always looking for content there. Any of you have anything, be sure to share that with Allie and she can get it to the appropriate people. Oh, and Eileen, very fortunate to have been, oh, hang on a second. I need to get into my chat where I can see it. Eileen has been invited to Necker Island and was there for 5 days in December. That was absolutely fantastic. Eileen, it would be great to see a write-up on that. We'd love to share that with everybody and then share that blog. The blog is on our AndavoVacations.com site, and we have our blog listed there. Allie just put the link in the chat. So otherwise, you can go to AndavoVacations.com, and in that little hamburger menu up in the top right corner, you'll see a link to our blog. Yeah, write-ups are usually, 3 to 4 paragraphs, but even if you want to do 1 to 2 paragraphs, that's great as well. Anything that you'd like to do, we can take some of the content that you've got. If you're not a great writer, we can help you in getting that written out so it looks good too. So I am not a good writer. I tend to write in bullet points. So we just want some content from you, and then we can pretty it up as we need to. Images are great. So anything that you have that would be some good pictures that we can post as well. That's always great. And if you don't mind us sharing that in social media, we'd love to do that. We're always looking for content for social media as well. And Jamie, I know we got some content from you for your Charleston trip, or maybe we didn't. I know I've just seen it. So that would be great as well to have some information there that we can share. I still don't have any travel that is planned. I am chomping at the bit and am ready to get out and go and explore and see the world again. I know many of you are as well. So hoping that somewhere soon I'll be able to get on a trip. Terry Kuhn says she's on a plane right now. That's fantastic, Terry. Are you heading somewhere fun? Jay spent New Year's Eve and 10-year anniversary. Oh, this keeps blocking my chat. Oh, in Santa Barbara. I love Santa Barbara. That's such a beautiful city. Terry heading to Los Angeles. Catherine Rogers is going to the Florida Keys on Sunday. That's great. Jay Ireland's there in LA. She's saying, Terry, you're going to be just fine. Thanks, Jamie. I just saw your chat. Send more information to Allie. That's great. I did see a report that came out from Strategic Vision, and I'm gonna I'll pull this. It had some interesting information in it. Oh, and someone just returned from Cancun. Let me get back over here and look at the chat. Shirley Silvestri just got back from the Big Island of Hawaii. Flight was packed. Everyone wore their masks. Beaches at the Moanalani were crowded over New Year, but not so bad this last week. Great. And Donna just returned from Cancun. Very good. I'm going to share my screen and show you this. This was done by Strategic Vision. They surveyed 482 consumers, and they have them as qualified consumers based on their 2019 travel. So they've identified these people as having traveled through a travel agency. So they were able to get this information. So they are verified consumers. And just going through this, I thought it was fairly interesting, some of the things that they listed here. So luxury travelers are ready to get back on the road. That's great news. They show trending this year is going to be Europe safaris and domestic trips. Not really too surprising for us. The fluent travelers are still interested. They're getting on the road. A lot of this has been looking at what the travelers are considering very important to them as they're looking at getting back into travel. And so let me get into some of these pages where they're talking about these statistics. So 48% somewhat are very positive about the return to travel in 2021, while some 44 are still saying they're feeling somewhat negative about it. Majority of the travelers have already booked for 2021. I'll send this out as well, because I thought this was a pretty good study of where travel is heading this year. So 70% said they've traveled since the lockdowns began. 52 for pleasure. So there are still out of 482 consumers. So this is not a huge group of people that they had surveyed. They are still going to be sticking nearby into the familiar. Here's what looks interesting to me. So top planned, the Colorado's in there, which is great. Love that. Hawaii, California, Florida for the domestic travel. Let me get back down to this other. Oh, hang on. So here's their working with advisors, and advisors are seeing an uptick in the driving and road trips. Not real big news. We've seen that. They are looking at doing more with the private home rentals, villa rentals, traveling in small groups, private aviation, and visiting a place for more than the 2 weeks. They're talking about some things that are what is important to travelers as they start going, and some of this is some of the things that they were saying that are important to the travelers that they had found is it's not necessarily the cleaning protocols or the COVID testing and temperature checking upon arrival. It's that the vaccines are in place, that the safety protocols are in place, but getting their temperature checked everywhere they go was really not one of those big pushes. So I think it is good to see. I will send that out to everybody. It's like 38 slides long. So, but it's got some good information in there, both from what the travel advisors are seeing and what the consumers are looking for. Hopefully, more and more of the vaccine's going to come out faster and faster so we can start getting people vaccinated and start getting people traveling again. Looking to see if there's anything else that popped into the chat. I don't see anything else. So again, I will get that out to you. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, is the Virtuoso View from Leadership series with Arnie Sorensen. If you can't make it that early, which is very early, look for that recording. It will be available through Virtuoso. And then check out the ASTA YouTube recording for the benefits, COVID benefits, and watch for more information from Virtuoso on that as well. Now, if you guys don't have anything else, that puts us right about 30 minutes for our meeting. So I will go ahead and let you all go. So thank you all for joining in today. It's great to see you all and hear your voices and read your chats. Thank you all, and see you next week.